Okay, hi everyone. Hi, Ange. Yay. So I'm Pleasance Lowengard, author of Delight, 8 Principles for Living with Joy and Ease. And I am so excited, but a little nervous because I already feel like I'm going to start crying.
Oh,
um, because just, 17 months ago, I was standing in this office, Angela, and we were having our intro call. It was a Wednesday. I was teaching yoga to this wonderful woman, Caroline Green, and telling her that I had closed my yoga studio, but that I was really excited about teaching and coaching and leadership, but I wasn't sure how to pull it all together. And she said, I have a person for you. And she gave me your email. And I went home and clicked on the link. In less than 24 hours, I was talking to you standing here for almost 2 hours on the phone, just saying
I remember that call. It did go on for quite some time.
It was very long. And after, my heart was racing and I was sweaty. And I called my business accountability partner, Anna Guest-Jelly, and I said, oh my gosh, Anna, I'm going to write a book with this book coach, and I'm scared and I'm excited, and it's exactly the right thing to do. And she knew that I had been searching. I don't know how to do what I want to do. And working with you and saying yes and finding the money, because I was terrified and I had a lot of debt from closing my yoga studio. And I said, I'm going to say yes and I'm going to figure it out. And you are magic in a person. And I'm really excited to talk with you today about your new book, because this is your third book, right? I brought this baby out. Make 'em beg. I love it. Make 'em beg to publish your book. And I read it the other day. It was awesome. Of course. I'm a big fan. But I am really excited to talk with you because I'm obsessed with everyone who knows from the Little Ohm life stuff and the Little Ohm world, that I'm obsessed with this idea of success and this idea of contentment. And working with you helped me pull those threads together so that the conversation we had in this room was, I said, I'm used to working all the time and not making a lot of money. And you said, I can help you with that.
I was going to say, I hope I said something like, let's fix that.
You were like, that is what I do. That's what I can help with. And it's exactly what happened. You taught me the math, behind the scenes. So that I didn't have to do all the things and work with all the people, that I could be more strategic and thoughtful, and created Thrive, which is my online signature course, as a support to Delight, the book.
Love it.
And it all is coming together, continues to come together. So I want to ask you around success, around this. What's your definition of success? How did you become successful, and how has that changed and evolved over the past 20 years of being obsessed with books and writing and coaching people?
Yeah, so I remember the very first time I was asked that question.
For you, yes. Can you hear that? Yeah.
I don't know if I had enough spirit, but maybe we can just live with that.
Okay.
Because I'm not on a headphone or anything. But anyway.
Okay.
So yes, the first person who ever asked me that question was Susan Hyatt. Do you know who she is?
From you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Susan Hyatt asked me the question. Well, she's like, we were taking a walk in Lake Tahoe, and she's like, well, tell me your definition of success. And I had a definition ready to go. I was very proud of myself. And the definition was progressively increasing responsibility commensurate with progressively increasing pay.
Okay.
I'm sure that was it. I was like, I'm like, is that right? Did I get it? And she looked at me and she said, interesting. And I was like, well, why interesting? What do you mean? Is it wrong? Is that the wrong definition? Do I not have the definition right? Do you have a better definition? Should I change my definition? Is that like what? And she's like, no, I just think it's interesting. Like, it's good to know. It's like, what does that mean? Why is she saying good to know? Why is she acting so weird? I don't get it. Oh my God, I totally get it now. Like, there's nothing to say to that. Like, if that's what you believe success is, like, all right, good luck. It's a long road to happiness. And, but it was very measurable, and that really was how I tracked it. And then when something really switched for me, it was the idea that I could make a difference. Mm-hmm. It was the idea that success was making a difference, even if it didn't mean more money, even if it didn't mean more responsibility. It was, how do I step up as a leader? For me, like, what if I was the measuring stick? What if the measuring stick wasn't outside of myself?
Yeah.
Like, that was just nothing I ever considered. Yeah. I never considered the measuring stick for success could be one that I controlled. I thought teachers, like, if you're successful, you get an A. A teacher gives you an A. If you're successful, your mom says you did a good job. Your mom said, like, I was sure success happened outside of me. Yep. And that way, sadness lies. Yeah. There's no way to win that game.
Yeah, ever. And we're so set up in that way. Well, and or you can be. Like, now I'm just surrounded by people who don't believe that, and we're not, teaching our kids that, and we're sort of, creating new realities for ourselves. Okay. So talk a little bit about your journey, like the starting your business, growing your business. What were the pivot moments? What were the change moments? Like, I think that, one of the things that has happened with me a number of times is that I step into a role, I do my thing, I lead it, I grow it, and then there's a shift or a pivot, and then I do my thing. And sometimes that growth is, numbers and size, and sometimes it's personal and kind of the shift. And I think that a lot of times people don't see behind the scenes of what that looks like and what's happening. So can you talk a little about your journey?
Yeah, there's hello from Ukraine. Yes. Hello, Ukraine. Hello. So this is the thing. I think that there's a great, AA has all the good sayings. They say, don't judge your insides by other people's outsides. Mm-hmm. So I think it's easy to see, like, what's going on in my business now and think, oh, she's got it all figured out. Or what's going on in your business. Like, all, like, or people's bodies or people's relationships. Like, they hold hands at the school play and you're like, oh, they have the perfect relationship. Like, you don't know what is going on. You see part of the story all the time. So for me, when I started, I went to GW in Foggy Bottom.
Me too.
And one of my professors recommended me senior year for a job with a New York Times bestselling author. Yep. So I worked in DuPont Circle for this author, and it was $10 an hour. And I thought, well, I'm going to do this job through the summer, because then I was going to take a vacation. Mm-hmm. I was going to go to Europe or something. And then I'm going to get a job in the fall. Mm-hmm. And then the fall came, and I was still working for this guy. And then I got another job for another author. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this for a little while, and then I'm going to get a job. And I kept thinking, at some point, I'm going to get a real job. And I did this for 17 years. Mm-hmm. And over the course of 17 years, I worked for hundreds of authors. I went from making $10 an hour to $50 an hour. So 17 years, I 5x'd my salary. And I was good. Like, I was good. I was respected. I never had a website. I never did any marketing. It was all referral based. And in my head, I kept thinking, and very nicely, my family would enforce this by saying things like, when are you going to get a real job? And in my head, I would think, at some point, I should really get a real job. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I was still the girl in college, like senior year, who just got this job from her professor. And so I was like, at some point, I really got to figure out what I'm doing and get a real job. And so I went to a life coach. And first thing I did was I read Martha Beck's Finding Your Own North Star. Mm-hmm. And one of the things she says in that book, which I usually have like right next to me, but it's right here. And I like to be surrounded by my books.
I know.
And this is this book. It's amazing. So one of the things she says is, what do you lose track of time doing?
Yes.
And I know it's like right here. And this is the actual exercise that changed my life. Yeah. Write in your books, people. It's the answer to everything. So this was it. It says, write down 3 types of activities that make you forget what time it is. You guys should write this in the comments too. And I said, talking to Jenny about everything. Jenny's my best friend. Mm-hmm. And then I said, playing card games. And then it's reading self-help books. And I was like, clearly, this book is stupid because none of those things are ever going to be a way to make a living.
They're never going to get you a real job.
No, they are not. There's nothing to be found there. So then I hired a life coach, and then I spent the next 4 years trying to figure out, what do I lose track of time doing that you could actually make money at? Because clearly it's not talking to girlfriends and reading self-help books. Yeah. Done. And one day, and this is how I think we're working on things all the time in the back of our heads. I was working on a book called Windows Server Backup 2.0, hoping for the day when I would find my real job. And I was driving home from the client site, and I was on Rock Creek Parkway. And right past the zoo, there's a stop sign. Mm-hmm. And there's a moment when you're coming up on a stop sign when hello from Singapore. You have friends all over the world. This is amazing. So I'm coming up on the stop sign, and I press the brake. And when I press the brake, my entire business plan flooded into my head. And from the time I pressed the brake until I stopped the car, whatever that is, 100 feet, I was like, oh my God, I help life coaches write their books. Like, I was just like, the whole thing. I knew everything I was going to do. So part of the plan that came to me was I was going to get a lake house in West Virginia. So you've actually been here. So I live on the river in Virginia. So it's not exactly a lake house in West Virginia. But I was like, I will get a lake house in West Virginia. Oh, the reason I came up with West Virginia was that was what I could afford. Yeah. I knew I could afford a place in West Virginia. I did not think I could afford a castle on the Potomac. What? So I was like, I'm going to get a lake house in West Virginia. I will have life coaches come there, and they will write their books with me. And I was like, we'll talk. It'll be like girlfriends talking. And we'll be reading each other's self-help books. And like, this is literally what I do. It like all happened from that moment. So I literally spent 17 years trying to figure out, like, how do I get people outside of me to give me more power and authority and give me raises?
And the 4 years that you were working with the life coach, right? So this whole chunk of time, what did that feel like when you were searching and looking? Like,
awful, miserable.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's so, because it was just like, this book, and then my coach was a woman named Brooke Castillo, and I was just like, I have to figure this out. Oh, do you know what my plan was?
No. What was your plan?
So this is what I wanted my life coach to endorse, and they never wanted to endorse this. I thought I should be a personal injury attorney. That was my plan.
I'm so glad you did not go with that plan.
I was just like, that must be it. And like,
well, you eventually would have made your way here, right? Like, I believe in destiny and like your dharma, right? I'll do all my wisdom woo-woo stuff. So you always, this is what you were going to do. It's just, were you going to do it now or were you going to do it later, right? Then you always say that, like, you could work with me now and get what you want now, or you can go do your own thing and then come back to me later and we'll get it done, you know?
Totally. I feel like lots of people are joining us. Hi, Facebook Live people.
Hi, everyone.
Tell us where you are. We have somebody from Ukraine and Singapore. Are you from Minnesota? That's not as exciting. Make it good.
Okay, so tell me some of the success stories. Like, I want to hear about some of the people some of these coaches that you worked with. And now you do more than life coaches. You attract a lot of people who are in transformation and healing and wellness, right? Because I was a yoga teacher, and very staying small within that title when I came to you. And it was sort of the process of writing the book and being around you and your coaching that expanded that leadership piece for me. So tell me about other people that you've worked with and some of your success stories.
Yeah. So one thing I want to say is I am definitely owning
California and Washington.
Much more. By the way, that person from Renton, Washington, I just signed up a new author from Renton. I'd never heard of your town, and now I've heard of it twice in 2 days. So hello, Renton, Washington. Apparently I'll be there soon. So I definitely started with life coaches because I had a life coach, but
right.
I now have a lot of, I've owned my woo. So
Yay!
A lot more like new age, spiritual. I have this is my new crystal box, and I've been doing a new meditation. Jesse and I have been doing it together. So we made this up. So we have this bag of crystals that each represent a different chakra.
Nice.
And then we've been picking which one of these out of the bag, because I like divining all of my stuff. So we pick a chakra crystal out of the bag, and then we do the meditation that goes with it. And the meditation that goes with it is I Google root chakra meditation, and then I just find one randomly online. It's my mothering technique. So we spent a lot of time. So we found Jesse's really into essential oils.
Yes.
And last night he picked the root chakra crystal, and then we found the root chakra essential oil, and then we did a root chakra meditation together. And so I've just
sounds like our house over here.
Exactly. Just got weird. But yeah, so some of the things where I think I have the most success with people is anybody who is really ready to step up. So a lot of people come to me and they've just started coaching, or they've just started doing readings. We have an amazing medium who is absolutely incredible, and she does these incredible readings and connecting people with their loved ones. And so they don't know how to sell their stuff. They're hoping that people will randomly.
I know.
And they'll be like, hey, how can I pay you? You're neat. How can I pay you to do neat things with me? Which is not how people buy. So, so super fun. Amy Burks is a strategy ninja. She calls herself the strategy ninja. So she came to me in October. It's been a little more than 6 months, and she is at $50K a month now. Wow. Was just starting her business. Actually, what she was doing before she came to me was helping her husband in his business, and then she had 2 or 3 people that she had joint projects with. One was going to build this project and do this retreat, and she didn't feel all over the map because they were all great ideas.
Yeah.
But I think we do that a lot. We're we can do retreats in West Virginia on the lake, and then you spend all this time planning the retreat, and then nobody signs up for the retreat, and then the retreat never happens, and then you come up with another idea. So really getting her to focus in her zone of genius.
Yes.
Joanne Philomena came to me at the exact same time, and she had such a good month this month. It was so fun. She came to me. She hit, I'd say by January or February, she hit 10K a month. So she's consistently doing 10K a month. She has that 6-figure coaching business going great. But this month she had a problem. She wanted to take a week off. She was going to an event in California, and she wanted to take the whole week off. So she's like, I still want to make $10,000, but I want to do it in 3 weeks instead of 4. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, do it in 3 weeks. And she's like, but I've never done it in 3 weeks. I'm like, yeah, just decide you're going to do it and you'll do it. On May 12th, she had hit $10,000. So in 2 weeks, she was able to get to $10,000, which just tells your brain, oh my God, if I wanted to make $20,000,
right,
I could. That's just a choice.
yeah.
Like, what if the amount of money we had was just a total choice? So cool.
Yeah. And I think that it's, especially because you work with so many people in wellness and service and transformation, especially since, I'm in the yoga, meditation, health coaching, oils world, that there's so much of this limiting mindset around the value, because we love what we do and we would do it it's in our blood, it's our flow, it's exactly what we're here for. And so sometimes that gets really confused with doing it for free or wanting to do it for free. And
I want to do it for free.
Right. And you would, right. And you have to pay bills and you have, there's so many things. And you've talked, I think one of the biggest lessons and teachings that I got from you around money and transformation and doing this work and serving is that you had some situations with your son, who I love and adore and get to see daily pretty much. And you were able to take care of him and do what needed to be done for him because of how your relationship to money and growth and understanding how it plays out in your life. And this is the big thing that I think was such a connection for me that I teach and share so much now, is that it's not about greedy. It's not about more. It doesn't have to mean that so many of us have that money and greed are, there, you have to pick, that like you can't make a good living and be a good person. And you really taught and showed me and continue to sort of model that like there's all these different ways to really reach your goals and your dreams and do it for things that you love and people you love and traveling. And it supports that. It doesn't mean that you're an asshole because you make a lot of money,
I think everybody, all the people on this Facebook Live and watching the recording, everybody should be able to pick how much money they want to make.
Yeah.
Any amount of money you should be able to pay. If you want to make $5,000, if you want to make $50,000, whatever you want to make, you should be able to pick.
Yeah.
And to do anything else, to put the control outside of yourself, like I did with my definition of success, to put the control outside of yourself is the greediest thing you can do. Because when you do that, you are not available to serve the way you want to serve.
Yeah.
So how selfish of you to hold yourself from making the difference that you're born to make just because you don't want to figure out money. It's not that hard to figure out. And once you figure it out, you can help anyone you want in a truly deep and meaningful way. And that to me is the most generous gift we can give to a client.
This came up during the writing process over and over because we have these weekly calls and there I'd be crying, this is hard. And you'd say, do you have something that will help people? Can you help them? And I'm like, yes, I can. This stuff, it will help. It works. It really works. And I know how to do it. Okay, well, get over yourself and get it out there and go do it. If you are serious about serving, if you're serious about your gifts, if you're serious about helping people, then go do it and value it. And that sort of like tough love was it's just brilliant especially because so many, there's such a softness in a lot of the yoga teachings that are sort of live in the West right now that are not really are really encouraging and supporting us to serve and to get out in the world and serve. And so now, like your message came to me, and I must say that to people over and over, with the creative entrepreneurs that I mentor and work with. I'm like, it's enough. Get out of your way. Let's go. We need to get it out there. You have to help people. We need you.
Yeah. And look what happens if we don't step up.
Right. I mean, it's really, and it's not, I don't want to say it's not easy, but there's emotion involved at times, and you really do have to do your own work and continue.
The highest form of I think personal practice
and the self-care piece. I mean, it's not. I know that self-care is like a thrown around term and blah 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 self-care, but it's really the way that I can clearly, and I learned that so much from these leaders and role models like you know, who are, in order to have the energy to do the work that I'm here to do, I have to be rested. I have to be well nourished. I have to have meditation so that I have that clarity to help. What are your practices or routines? Do you have a morning routine? Or I know you talked a little about meditation and oils, but what else do you do?
So I call it competitive meditation.
Yeah.
I meditate every morning and have for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
But now Jesse and I are really into that Muse headband. So we've been doing literally competitive meditation, which is super fun. Using apps to like, who can meditate better?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I am totally not into essential oils. I didn't know you were. Jesse is. So he's my like oil pusher.
Yeah.
So you should, and I forget.
There's something else I can connect with him on.
I was going to say, yeah, you need to talk to him. I have a shoulder problem and I went to Portland last week when I was running out the door and he's like, wait, Mom, take this.
Take your oils.
And he handed me
thieves for the plane. Yeah. So you wouldn't get the dirt. Yeah.
I was like, what's happening? He's like, take this. I'm like, okay, I don't know. You asked me a question. I don't know what I'm answering. I'm just rambling.
Around your practices, your rituals, how you take care of yourself.
Okay, so meditation's super important to me. And
why? What do you notice when you meditate? Like, why would you do it?
I know that I am significantly smarter when I can get out of my head and into my body. So especially, I meditate every day no matter what. But if I have a problem, very often the problem gets solved a lot faster through like insights that come in meditation. Mm-hmm. I also, I wrote this book, Make 'em Beg to Publish Your Book. I wrote it while I was on vacation, which probably sounds torturous to some people, but I actually channel when I write.
Yeah.
And so the way the cruise ship worked, breakfast was at 8 a.m. and it was a riverboat and everybody was over 70. So the ship was like shut down by 10 p.m. So I just got up early. I got up every day at 4 o'clock and I wrote from 4 to 8. So I didn't miss any of the vacation. And I would meditate from like 4 to 4:30. And then I would just download as fast as I can type from the universe, whatever I was supposed to put in this book. And it's like a sacred honor and responsibility. And I know if I don't stay in communication with source, then I have to write from my head and everything feels scary. Yep. I'm operating my business from my head. I'm operating my relationships from my head. And I'm like super smart. But if I can plug into source and operate from like my head and my heart connected to source.
That alignment is
so much easier.
Yeah.
So much easier.
So when you hit a bump or a hard time and you're in the business, in the work, in the writing, right? What are the tools that you use? How do you get through that?
So I do a lot of journaling, not surprising. I have used, when things get really bad, I am naturally not artistic. And so I will use either drawing or non-dominant hand writing to get out of my head, because unfortunately, when you're a good writer, it's actually harder to journal. Like I can talk myself into anything. So non-dominant handwriting or drawing or things that make me really fucking uncomfortable when I have a really big problem.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times talking and logic just don't work for me. So I have to get in my body even though I don't want to. Yeah. It's the only way that I can kind of come at the problem. Yeah.
And that's key, even though you don't want to. Like I'm always talking and teaching about, you have to know who you are. You have to know how you work. You have to be able to be skillful and navigate your energy and your zone of genius, your power, your superpowers, all these things. And so that self-reflection is such a key part, and that's doing the work, right?
So great. So I get a lot of insights from swimming. I don't know if it's the water or what.
Yeah.
I've had the shoulder injury, so I haven't been able to swim. And so I'm like, okay, I know I'm missing these insights because I'm not swimming. Yeah. How can I do it? So like, I hate running.
Yeah.
But I've been running instead because I know otherwise I get looped in my problems. And I'm just like, I can think about all the reasons why they're never going to get solved.
Right.
I'm really good at that.
So, right. And it's that mind-body connection where you're creating new pathways, which, the brain wants to solve problems. And when we hit those walls, it shuts down. And so creating the new pathways comes from the movement. In my life, it's through yoga practice or walking in nature or just moving. And it's that same thing that you're speaking to, to create the other pathways, even when you don't want to, or you don't love it. I mean, that's the thing, I
had a major falling out with a friend. I had a thing happen with a friend that could have been a falling out. Mm-hmm. And I played it in my head a million times. That did not help. So I started doing, have you ever heard of Ho'oponopono?
Yes.
So I started doing Ho'oponopono.
Yeah.
I would just go for a walk or a run.
Yeah.
I would just spend an hour like, thank you, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you, I forgive you. And it was just like an hour of doing that work. And I thought what was going to happen, even though I've been around this work so fucking long, I don't know why it's just every time, but I thought what was going to happen was I was going to get a script downloaded from the universe that was going to tell me what to say to my friend.
Yeah.
Here are the boundaries I'm setting. In order for this friendship to proceed, these are the rules you must follow. Like I was sure I was going to get that script.
Yeah.
And I did that for like a week. And then I was like, what's my problem with her again? Like I couldn't even think of what to have the conversation about. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have the conversation. There was something I was mad about.
Yeah, right.
There's a thing. So it's like, it's so often the solution takes me by surprise. I'm like, okay, so she's being a human.
Yeah. And
I'm being a human. And then we love each other. And then I want to clarify with her how she should be a human. What was I going to say? Hold on. I know I had a point.
Right. And that's that, like, I love that because that prayer, that ritual is so, it's so in sync with loving kindness, and it's a loving kindness meditation. And when we practice that regularly, there is more natural and authentic gratitude in order to see the humanness. Right. And I just love that because it's the space and we all have that basic goodness, and we need to sometimes practice looking for it instead of overthinking it and over controlling, right? Attaching ourselves to those thoughts. Those attachments are what's dangerous.
And they feel so fucking real.
I know. And we feel right. We're right. I mean, this is the way it is, so, okay. So to close, I think you have to go. I want to honor your time.
I know. I'm just telling my 11:30 I'm late.
Wait a second. Okay. So the last thing, just what's some wisdom or advice for someone who is interested in getting started in something, writing, in coaching, in service, and what's your best advice to get them started?
Number one, best advice that I can tell you is find a valuable problem that your work solves. Either you've helped other people solve it and they could be friends from the PTA, or you've solved it in your own life. But what is a single problem that you could be the best in the world at if you practiced hard enough? What could you be the best in the world at solving? And it doesn't have to be big. In fact, even the more small it is, the more powerful it can be.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Bye, Carrie.
Thank you so much, Angela. Where can people find you? Where can they find your books and learn how to write books with you?
So if you were thinking about writing a book, make them beg to publish your book, or you can get
this old one.
Amazon.com. And if you want to learn more about what we are up to, go to the authorincubator.com.
Yay. Go check it out. Everyone, write your books and go out there and serve the world. We need you.
Awesome.
Namaste.
I will see you very soon. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.